This program is sponsored by Dave Stahl. It's time to get educated on your Second Amendment rights. Welcome to 2 full hours of Gun Owners Radio. Your hosts Dave Stahl, Joe Drammissi, and Michael Schwartz will teach you about firearms, self-defense, and the laws that affect your rights to keep and bear arms. Visit gunownersradio.com with questions to learn how to become a sponsor of Gun Owners Radio and get involved. Together, we will win. Now here's your hosts, Dave Stahl, Joe Drammissi, and Michael Schwartz on The Answer San Diego.
All right, folks. Hey, welcome to Gun Owners Radio, FM 96.1, AM 1170.
The Answer.
This segment is sponsored by John Dillon and Dillon Law Group. Do you have legal matters that involve anything gun-related? Then you need to call attorney John Dillon. Whether your questions are about red flag laws, gun registration questions, gun transportation questions, or maybe you aren't sure that your gun complies with California law, well, you need to call our trusted firearms attorney, John Dillon. John Dillon is right here in Carlsbad and specializes in California gun laws. Give him a call at 760-642-7150 or visit the website at dillonlawgp.com.
John's going to be in court tomorrow, too. We'll have to talk about that later in the show. Except he's going to be the attorney this time rather than the...
Oh, is he really? Instead of a radio host?
No, instead of a plaintiff or a defendant.
What is he usually when he's in court?
No, I'm kidding. Yeah. So, all right. So last week we did the subscribe to our email list to win an Eclipse holster dump tray. And we have a winner this week.
Do you really? Dave Stahl.
No, not Dave Stahl. Let me look it up here. So the winner of the Eclipse holster dump tray, which was very, very cool, subscribe to our email list to win, and the winner is Katie Bernatsky. I hope I said that right. Katie Bernatsky. So congratulations, Katie. You're the winner of an Eclipse holster dump tray. Just contact us, or I guess we have your information, so we'll contact you to let you know how we're going to get that to you.
That's fantastic.
That is. She's going to have her EDC dump tray or everyday carry.
Yeah.
You know,
see, folks, that's why it's important to listen to the show, because when we get product to review, instead of keeping it, we hook you up and get you an opportunity to win something totally free without having to spend a dime.
That's right. And coming up in just real soon here, actually, they're on sale now. The Cover Your Asp week tickets are on sale. You have to really
don't ever say that again until he's near the 10-second button. You put poor Brendan in a mild cardiac arrest over here.
I know, you have to really.
Well, our last guest last week caught us on guard.
I know. Cover Your Asp, ASP, which is, of course, John Correa. Seen him on YouTube. He's going to come out, and we got a week of training and seminars and fun and all kinds of cool stuff. If you're a member of San Diego, Orange, Riverside, or San Bernardino County Gun Owners, you can get you're going to get a discount code so that your tickets are going to be discounted. So check your email for your access codes. If you're a member of San Diego County Gun Owners, Orange County Gun Owners, Riverside County Gun Owners, or San Bernardino County Gun Owners, take a look for your discount code to spend a week training with John Correa from ASB, Active Shooter. What is it?
Active Self-Protection.
Active Self-Protection. I'm sorry about that.
There you go.
Easy for you to say.
And then don't forget to take the listener survey, gunownersradio.com/survey. So go to gunownersradio.com/survey. You could win a 511 Rush 24 backpack. The winner is going to be picked on November 15th. And if you visit the 511 in Mission Valley, tell them to say hi from Gun Owners Radio. So all you got to do is go to gunownersradio.com/survey, SURVEY. Do that on any computer or your smartphone. It takes about 3 minutes to take this survey, and you might win a very cool 511 backpack. So how cool is that?
Everybody, that is fantastic.
Yeah, right?
Yeah.
And then also the locations for the upcoming tabletops at gun shops. We're on the 24th. So the 24th of this month is going to be really, really busy. So if you're looking for something to do, if you're looking to try to help us improve the Second Amendment situation here in California, and you just want to have some fun and meet some other gun-owning fantastic Americans, There's a bunch of volunteer opportunities coming up. On the 24th, we're going to have gun shop tabletops at Duncan's in San Marcos, the Gun Range on Balboa, and Discount Gun Mart on Morena. All on the 24th are going to have gun shop tabletops. Now, the gun shop tabletops are very cool.
What is that?
It's basically we set up a tabletop and we have information about San Diego County Gun Owners, information about our voter guide, information on CCWs. So you basically get to hang out at a gun shop for a few hours and talk to other gun owners about cool stuff. You said your buddy just tried one for the first time, right?
Yeah, my neighbor just worked one Saturday at Poway Weapons and Gear, and like I said, I haven't had a chance to talk to him about it, to debrief him.
What's the hours?
It sounded like it was a lot of fun.
What are the hours?
4-hour shift, so usually it's 10 to 2 and then 2 to 6. But we, if you go to, so where you find this information is you go to sdcgo.org/volunteer, sdcgo.org/volunteer. The other thing that's happened on the 24th is we're having a shooting social at Poway Weapons and Gear. So if you want to be a mentor, you want to teach somebody how to shoot and, meet new shooters, meet some other members of San Diego County Gun Owners, all you need is a gun, and eye protection, ear protection, and a 9mm pistol.
And that's a lot of fun. That's a really fun, rewarding thing to do, too. It's shooting social, volunteering for that kind of stuff is just great.
You need bullets?
It is. No, we provide everything else. We provide the students.
Oh, did you find some bullets?
We found some bullets. We just had a shooting social this morning for Guns and Moses.
Oh, did you?
Yeah, Guns and Moses is a Jewish educational shooting group here in San Diego. And we had, I think we had 20. We ended up with 20 brand new students, all ages. I mean, all ages, 20s to, I think, 70s, I'm guessing. Men and women. It was about a 40%, 60% women to men split. A bunch of couples. A couple of sisters came. Two sisters wanted to come. Or no, it was a mother-daughter. It's a mother-daughter. Yep. I'm sure they were flattered that I thought they were sisters, but
yeah, I'm sure they were. One of them was anyway.
Yeah. So we had our experienced members, pair up with them and teach them how to shoot. They get a safety briefing and they get 50 rounds of 9 and eye and ear protection and all kinds. It's really truly you cannot beat it, especially right now.
Got to get my wife and her girlfriend signed up.
Yeah,
doggone it.
Well,
when's
have
the next one?
The 24th. If you go to our website, you can sign up for the shooting socials on our website.
Right. San Diego County Gun Owners.org.
Yeah, and we started having, we're having at least 2 a month right now. One is kind of a standing second Saturday of the month shooting social for anybody.
Where's it? Not to interrupt. Where's this one at on the 24th?
Poway Weapons and Gear. We either have them at Poway Weapons and Gear or the Gun Range San Diego. We might have them at a couple of the other ranges, but right now we've just been set up there. So every second Saturday, we teach. You just sign up. It's $50,
right?
Which is per person.
Okay.
Which is, if you just walk in off the street and rent a gun and buy ammo, and rent.
Oh no, yeah.
Well, especially right now, a box of 9mm like $50 right there.
Yeah, so, and folks, think about it.
Or $40.
Would you ever take your wife or daughter out to teach them how to drive a car?
Yeah.
So this is a very good deal for $50. You can send your better half out and let them learn from the experts on how to handle a gun and won't get yelled at.
Yep. So the tabletops at gun shops, go to our website /volunteer or to become a mentor or shooting social. There's all kinds of stuff happening. And in the show, we're about to interview one of the greats, Massad Ayoob, coming up. And we're going to talk to him about all kinds of cool stuff. Jerry Shiller, one of my favorite guys from Lemon Grove Rod and Gun, is going to talk about the Youth Trap at Lemon Grove Rod and Gun that's happening. So we have a really, really cool Joe's going to do a gear review. We have all kinds of really cool stuff. And then we have a great question for Sam the Gunman. I think we're going to stump him today.
Oh, yeah, right. Famous last words. And, folks, if you were thinking Melissa Lee was going to be in today, she is traveling from Vegas. She went to SHOT Show, got stuck in a really, really bad traffic accident coming back, so she's not able to make it. So she told me to tell you, Joe, thank you very much for filling in for her. She appreciates it.
Yeah, she wasn't involved in the accident. She just
No. She's just stuck in that lovely traffic coming back from Vegas. All right, we're going to take a quick break. You're all listening to Gun Owners Radio on FM 96.1, AM 1170.
The Answer.
back to Gun Owners Radio on FM 96.1, AM 1170.
The Answer.
Hey, what's the best defense for self-defense in those horrible new red flag laws? Firearms Legal Protection. Firearms Legal Protection is a legal defense program for lawful gun owners with a 24/7 emergency hotline. Let them provide the lawyer for you. Call Firearms Legal Protection today. That's Firearms Legal Protection at firearmslegal.com. Or you can call 469-310-9100. Boy, I tell you, we got a great special guest up. I'm going to leave this one up to you, Mike.
Absolutely. So our very, very cool guest, one of the greats in the industry, someone that's truly just respected by anybody that's ever touched a gun, really. But if you've taken any kind of formal training, you've probably learned from somebody who has learned something from our next guest, Massad Ayoob. How you doing?
Doing good, sir. Good to be back.
Fantastic. Well, thank you so much for coming on and talking to us.
Pleasure, Mike.
Yeah, and congratulations. You were recently named president of the Second Amendment Foundation, right?
Yes, last month.
Congratulations. That's fantastic.
Thank you.
So
more work.
Well, it's a great organization. I've spent about 30 years on the board of trustees. And when the president, Joe Tartaro, passed, he had been a mentor to me and to all of us. I will never fill his shoes, nor will anyone else, but I'm damn sure going to try.
Well, we appreciate all your help and all your expertise.
So for those who don't know, talk about what, there are a lot of different groups out there, national, local, state. What is the focus, or what exactly does the Second Amendment Foundation do?
The Second Amendment Foundation was founded by Alan Gottlieb back in the 1970s. The original purpose was to fund and gather legal scholarship into Second Amendment and other gun owners' civil rights issues. And over the years, that built a fantastic body of work that really turned around in legal circles the perception of the Second Amendment being about a National Guard, and made it very clear it was in the Bill of Rights for a reason. It was an individual right. Over the years, that morphed into litigation, and Second Amendment Foundation has really become the litigation arm of the gun owners' civil rights movement. At the moment, we have dozens of cases pending, local, state, county, and we have worked on the national level as well. It was really Second Amendment Foundation that brought us the Heller decision, Heller versus District of Columbia, and the McDonald decision, McDonald versus Chicago. That is the primary focus today, while the lobbying efforts are done by our sister organization, CCR-KBA, the Citizens Committee for the Right to Keep and Bear Arms.
That's awesome. So I mean, you guys are national. You bring lawsuits, extremely important. Now, last year we kind of got walloped with we had 10 or 12 lawsuits on their way to the Supreme Court, and they all got rejected. What are your thoughts on that, and what do you think the future holds?
I think the future with the new appointment is going to be very promising. There is a theory in Second Amendment circles that the pro-2A judges were kind of holding off until they were certain they could get a reasonable balance in the court.
They felt like the weak link might have been Roberts?
Well, Roberts is often seen as a swing vote.
Yeah. And now, you being president, what exactly does that mean for Second Amendment Foundation? What's the role of the president for Second Amendment Foundation?
I will be hopefully able to take some of the many public speaking engagements off Alan Gottlieb's plate. Alan, the founder, remains the driving force and the real power behind Second Amendment Foundation. And he can probably use a little bit of help with all the public speaking engagements. I will be doing what I can in the media and elsewhere to promote not only membership, but membership activism. Historically, Second Amendment Foundation was behind GRPC, the Gun Rights Policy Conference. Last month, we had to, for the first time, hold as a virtual event. And the bad news was we weren't able to network, but the good news is we were able to present it to more than 300,000 people who watched it at the time, and many more who I'm sure are going to see it in the future because it's been archived and is available online. Now, the purpose of GRPC was to bring in the best and the brightest from the local level, the state level, and the national level of the lobbyists who have been able to succeed in getting pro-gun legislation passed at state level, local ordinance level, and things of that nature. And bring in some of the attorneys who are out there fighting the fight now. We have dozens of cases that are already filed and waiting to go to court.
Is there one in particular that you think is promising, or is there one that you want to talk about or touch on?
I make a point of not talking about any pending litigation or anything that's not currently adjudicated. I will tell you we are standing ready to see what happens if the administration changes as a result of the November election, and we'll be fighting with, if anything, renewed vigor. So I can't really comment to specifics until we see what the other side actually pushes for.
Do you think they'll get the? Do you think the administration will get the appointment that they're working on now before the election?
I think there's a very good chance of it. There's no reason they shouldn't. The Constitution gives the president the right to appoint and does not specify a timeline. I think it's particularly important at this time in America because it's the first time we've had such a contentious election where Hillary Clinton has publicly told Joe Biden, do not accept defeat, fight, 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 and where the Democrats are accusing President Trump of planning to do the same thing should he lose. That will unquestionably go to the Supreme Court expeditiously, and it will be all the more important to have 9 justices to prevent a 4-4 tie at the worst possible time in America.
And you guys, Second Amendment Foundation is happy with the appointment, or you guys think she's got it?
Well, let me put it this way: my first official act as president was to publicly endorse Judge Barrett.
Good.
And Alan Gottlieb is extremely enthusiastic and has said so publicly. A lot of that commentary can be found at the website, saf.org.
saf.org. And if people want to be a member of Second Amendment Foundation, they can join online as well?
They most certainly can, and they can also join basically a new group that we have, for Second Amendment activists. And they can find that. Hang on one second, let me get that for you. We call it 2A First Responders.
Oh, nice.
And anyone interested in that, basically we're trying to recruit dedicated people who are willing to work phone trees during elections, to work phone trees during legislative sessions, and contact their representatives at the state level, the city level, the county level, everywhere. And we provide training, encouragement, et cetera, for that. And we are hoping for them to recruit additional volunteers at their level who can pack a state house, who can flood a state legislature with letters from the public explaining their position on gun owners' civil rights. And anyone interested in joining that is enthusiastically invited to go to saf.org/grassroots.
saf.org/grassroots. And you'll put them to work as activists. I like that a lot. Now, here's a question I get a lot running San Diego County Gun Owners. I'm sure you probably get it as well. The question is, how do you guys work with other organizations?
We are all on the same side. Picture it's World War II, and I don't care if the guy backing me up is a British soldier, an American soldier, an Australian soldier. I care that they're on our side and know how to fight.
Awesome.
So in the past, we've worked with the National Rifle Association, including on legislation. Representatives of Gun Owners of America have been speakers at our Gun Rights Policy Conference. We're all in this together, brother.
I agree. Couldn't agree more. About once a year, I put out a little little article. I'd do a little write up and basically tell people, hey, it's January. It's time to sit down and write 5 or 6 checks, to 5 or 6 organizations. People ask me all the time, well, what about this organization? What about that organization? Are they good? And my response is, if they're fighting for the Second Amendment, then yeah, send them a check. Whatever your flavor is. I personally like all of them. I don't have a bad thing to say about anybody that's trying to expand our Second Amendment rights, whether it's activism or they're writing about it, and engaging with media, or if they're filing lawsuits, whatever it is, and it's your freedom tax. You got to pay your freedom tax once a year and join all the organizations. And if we all carry a little bit of water, nobody has to carry a bucket. But Second Amendment Foundation has been particularly effective and hardworking, and with you as president, I think we're all stoked. I think they made a fantastic choice. I'm so glad you're involved with them, and that they picked you for in a leadership role.
Well, I'm excited about it, and I think no matter how the election turns out, we're going to have a very interesting year in front of us.
Yeah, I think you're right, and I think you're absolutely right. So, how did you originally get involved in Second Amendment Foundation? I mean, you're a busy guy. You're doing all kinds of stuff. How did that relationship begin?
Well, in the 1970s, I was invited to one of their meetings in Boston with probably 30 activists. And I was very impressed with the brain trust that Alan had put together on doing the legal research and so forth. And I said, send me in, Coach. Anything I can do to help, let me know. And I promoted the organization as best I could, wound up being on the board of trustees for a few decades, and being behind the scenes, saw all the good that they're doing and how much of the donations are actually being applied to where they need to go.
It's funny, the 80s and early 90s, I don't think that gun owners, especially those that are maybe just recently, within the last 5 or 10 years getting involved in activism, maybe they just bought a gun 5-10 years ago or whatever, and they're just starting to kind of pay attention. I don't think people would even recognize Second Amendment activism in the 80s as compared to now. I mean, back then, it was okay. It was literally okay to just openly talk about banning all handguns, all possession of handguns. We think we just want to ban all handguns, and that was just okay. It wasn't even an extreme position back then. The amount of work it took from organizations and activists to turn that around, all throughout the 80s and early 90s. To turn that around is amazing. And I think it's a lesson that can be learned from people who are, who are down in the dumps and think, geez, nothing good's ever going to happen, especially in California. I got to tell you, it's been worse. And people, hardworking people, have turned it around. You remember what I'm talking about? I mean, they were literally just.
I do indeed. Professor John B. Cates, lost to us now, God rest his soul, was one of the spearheads who defeated the San Francisco gun ban, and Don was one of us, an SAF guy.
Mm-hmm. Nice.
So we've got a pretty long string of victories. Not every fight is a victory, of course, but you take the fight to the opponent.
There you go. All right, hey, Massad, we're going to go ahead and take a quick break. When we come back, we're going to bring you back, and we look forward to the second segment right here on Gun Owners Radio. FM 96.1, AM 1170.
The Answer.
There's more Gun Owners Radio with Dave, Joe, and Michael to come on The Answer San Diego.
All right, folks. Hey, welcome back to Gun Owners Radio on FM 96.1, AM 1170.
The Answer.
California assault weapon laws make it almost impossible to own an AR pattern rifle. What is the solution? Cali Key. Cali Key converts any mil-spec direct impingement AR pattern rifle into a straight pull-bolt action rifle so it can have all the features without being considered an assault weapon. It's a true drop-in solution. No milling, no aesthetic modifications, and no turning off your gas system. Keep your entire AR collection intact at a price you can afford with Cali Key. Check out Cali Key at CaliKey.com. That's KALIKEY.com.
So we're talking with Massad Ayoob, who what we were just talking about was that he was recently named the president of the Second Amendment Foundation. Yeah. But that's most people know him from all the training he's done and all the writing he's done, and what a highly respected figure he's been in the Second Amendment movement for decades now. Massad, we were talking a little bit about everything, and the NRA is something that all gun owners have been focused on. Everybody has heard of the NRA, even if you're not a gun owner. I've been a member for years. I'm sure, a lot of gun owners have been a member for years. They've had a couple of rough years the last couple of years. What are your thoughts on that? What do you think the future of the NRA is? What are your thoughts on what's going on with them right now?
Well, we all know that it's critical to NRA. Watching the New York Attorney General and Governor Cuomo and their totally vicious acts in the organization and its 5 million members is long. Now, if they have a problem with 2 or 3 members of the organization who hold a high position, and if they have evidence, go ahead, try them for embezzlement. But to state that they're going to destroy the entire organization makes it blatantly clear that they're far beyond the law. We're talking here about an attorney general who, at the beginning of this, before the lawsuits and the allegations, called the NRA and by extension all its members a terrorist organization. Now, that to me is absolutely hate speech. As well know, the NRA is members that encompasses members of the community, the Asian community, the Hispanic community. We have a female contingent. We are America. America is NRA. NRA is a slice of America. To blatantly call such people terrorists shows you that they're not talking about justice. They're talking about a vicious political agenda to disarm the public. They see the NRA as the spearhead of gun rights, and it's blatantly obvious that's why they're attacking the organization.
Yeah, the County Board of Supervisors in San Francisco put out a resolution, calling all NRA members terrorists, or calling the NRA organization a terrorist organization, and we actually put out a travel warning to all our members saying, hey, stay out of San Francisco. It's clearly a hostile environment. There's no way you're going to get any kind of fair shake as a gun owner in any way, so stay out of San Francisco. Kind of the way the State Department put out a travel warning to a dangerous third world country, but that's really what they've turned into. I mean, if you're absolutely right. I mean, it's the exact same speech as what's considered hate speech. You just take out whatever insult that they normally talk about and insert gun owner, and it's the exact same stuff, and it's just as bad, and it's just as prejudiced, and it's just as damaging to people. Now, how do you think the elections are going to go? I can't remember a time where elections, I can't call it at all. I mean, I usually had a pretty good idea. All right, I think this person's going to win, that person's going to. I think it could go any way. What are your thoughts on what's going on nationally and in some of the local races?
Well, if I was Donald Trump and they said to me, how do you feel about being 8 points behind Democratic opponent going into the election, I'd say, that's funny. That's exactly where I was in the last election.
Yeah.
I think the whole culture that we've seen we put the gun owners on the defensive. Yes, a bunch of clowns and all of that. It's all a form of speech. If you look at the history of political, for example, in American newspapers going back, well over a century, and the people the editor didn't like would be caricatured as, some sort of a buffoon. The segregationists would characterize black people as looking like Step and Fetchit, and that has disappeared. The Nazis characterized the Jews as those beings, and of course you never see that. Yet the gun owner is still characterized to this day in America as a pinhead guy with a Cro-Magnon forehead and some missing teeth and a drooling troglodyte. I think it was Rahm Emanuel who said their job was to make us politically correct the way they made, for example, cigarette smoking politically incorrect. And I think many of us have to educate the public to the fact that so many gun carriers and gun owners are philanthropists, Fortune 500 executives. In any city that issues permits, a huge percentage, a disproportionate percentage of the people with permits are going to be judges, attorneys, and physicians, and high-ranking executives. And to get that, I think, more than we have. Most American presidents over history have been gun owners, and many of them have been gun collectors. When Roosevelt carried a Smith & Wesson, for God's sake.
Yeah.
And the public has sort of lost that from the high school college history of guns.
Yeah, it really is. It's absolutely just okay, and I think that a lot of gun owners try to, the insults. That's an emotional response, and I think a lot of gun owners try to counter that with logic and reason. And I think that we could probably do better at making a counter emotional argument or having our own emotional response. And, rather than talking, obviously statistics and logic, it's all very, very important, but, tugging on heartstrings and saying, hey, wait, it's not, we're not all, cavemen and knuckle draggers. Some of us are moms who want to protect our children. It's not fair that women are attacked, 10 times as much as men, and, pulling on heartstrings because they've been amazingly successful at demonizing us by using emotional arguments. And, I think we as a group could probably do a better job of tugging on those same heartstrings.
Well, as the court said, the other side is playing on emotion, and our side plays on facts and logic. And we need to do that a little more loudly. Now, you mentioned the women in the movement that has been going exponentially with multiple women shooters groups. We're seeing their presence much more in the sporting magazines. I'm seeing more women in classes. And we tend to see more women we used to at shooting matches. And it is really a logical progression. If you look back into the latter 20th century, the rise of the women's equality movement, as we know it today. Look, for example, in the construction industry. Women didn't break into construction as hard carriers, doing muscle work. And they broke into it at the roles of Caterpillar tractors, force multipliers. Female officers in American law enforcement didn't really start going on the street as full-blown officers, detectives, until the late 60s. Up until then, they were police women. They would be matrons at the women's jail. They would be the one who would search a female suspect, something like that, maybe handle some juvenile issues. And the reason that has worked as well as it certainly has is that a female officer carries force multipliers, the gun, the pepper spray, the taser, and the old days one now, the baton. The firearm is simply a force multiplier in a violent situation. Society and biology alike understand men tend to be larger, stronger, and more culturally prepositioned for physical violence. And the force multiplier, that 38 or 380 on the purse, puts her at parity with the 250-pound testosterone monster. Now, if you look at it historically, I draw the parallel of the nursing system where our police service, fire service, and emergency medical service. If you go back to when I was born in the 20th century, if I had gone to the family doctor and the doctor show us how to do closed chest cardiac massage, which is what they call CPR, the doctor would have looked down and like I went nuts and said, you want to learn that? Go to medical school. That's what we do. And all these years you're considered almost socially derelict if you don't know CPR, controlled the Heimlich maneuver, because they figured out in a nation of now 328 million people, we only have about 8,000 cops, for example, and probably plus minus a million emergency services workers in the emergency medicine field. The average response time nationwide is most often at 11 minutes. Well, if your heart stops somewhere between 3 and 5 minutes from then, you're going to be irreversibly brain dead. 11 minutes to rescue, 5 minutes or less to death, carry the one. And people figured out CPR will save lives because if there's a first responder there, not society's first responder, the cop, the firefighter, or the paramedic, but anyone who knows what to do, they can keep that person alive and hold the line against death until the professionals can get there. Now, the parallel to that, the second emergency service is the fire service. When I was a boy, that's the only guy in the neighborhood who had one of those big old-fashioned fire extinguishers at home, except the firefighters themselves in their own homes. It was understood if something catches fire, call the fire department. Well, if that's going to be 11 minutes, too, the kitchen fire that started on the stove, by the time the firefighters get there, the entire building might be involved, and everyone inside it might be dead of thermal burns or smoke inhalation. And society figured that out. That dealt that any of your listeners or any of your members don't have at least one fire extinguisher in the home, probably more, probably large vehicle. Because society figured out when that flame blooms on the stove, if you can reach over, grab the extinguisher and kill it in its nest. The only loss is a few $100 in smoke damage, if that, and maybe a new stove. The firearm in American citizens' hands is a direct analog to that. The next atom lands comes through the door of the school. The next home invader kicks down the door of a home. It's going to be 11 minutes before the police can be summoned and can arrive. The first responder needs the analog to a home AED or a fire extinguisher to stop that life-threatening situation right now. And people are figuring that out, and we're seeing it particularly now this year, in the time of the two-throat punch of the COVID epidemic for us, where America was flatly told by the news media what was seen as logical and truthful, that emergency personnel, such as paramedics and police officers,
and all the civil unrest and everything else that's gone on, it really has been a heck of a year. Well, Massad Ayoob, I really appreciate your time. I appreciate you calling in. As always, fantastic information. I can't tell you how happy I am for you and the Second Amendment Foundation that you're at the helm. Everybody, please go check out Second Amendment Foundation. It's saf.org and join today. Massad, thank you so much for joining us.
My pleasure. Good.
All right, take care.
All right, we're going to go ahead and take a little break, but when we come back, a whole lot more right here on Gun Owners Radio, FM 96.1, AM 1170.
The Answer.
Welcome back to Gun Owners Radio, educating you on your Second Amendment rights. Now, here are your hosts of Gun Owners Radio, Dave Stahl, Joe Drammissi, and Michael Schwartz on The Answer San Diego.
Welcome back to Gun Owners Radio, FM 96.1, AM 1170.
The Answer.
Welcome the Firearm Policy Coalition to our family of sponsors. Couldn't be happier. Firearms Policy Coalition is dedicated to restoring and protecting the Second Amendment just like us. Firearms Policy Coalition works on the state and federal levels and have filed some of the most important Second Amendment lawsuits to date. Together, we are working on all levels to restore your gun owners' rights. That's why it's also important to support Firearms Policy Coalition. You can become a member at firearmspolicy.org. All right, who's your next guest there, Sunshine?
Jerry Shiller, the president of the Lemon Grove Rod and Gun Club, which their shooting facility is located in Alpine. And he's here to talk to us about their Youth Trap League. How you doing, Jerry?
Hey, I'm doing great, Michael. How are you?
Good. Thanks for coming on and talking to us. So tell us, let's start off with a little bit about, for those who don't know, a little bit about Lemon Grove Rod and Gun. You know, we come up there every month. Of course, you know, you see us doing the sporting clays, and we're up there just about every month. And I always post, a picture of, someone standing in the outhouse shooting, or on the tower, or in the back of the truck, all the different stages that you have. And inevitably, somebody comments on Facebook, "Where is that? I've never heard of that region. Where is that? How can I do that?" So tell everybody a little bit about Lemon Grove Rod and Gun Club.
Lemon Grove Rod and Gun Club is a small to moderate-sized private club. We have maybe 450 total members. The club was incorporated in the mid-'50s and has been on its property in Alpine since then. We have a total of about 47 acres of area for active shooting, and we have some additional acreage as a buffer between us and our neighbors, who fortunately are also members of the club. So we're in good shape. We currently have openings, and as you might imagine from the increase in gun sales, we're seeing tremendous increase in interest in people joining our club.
That's awesome. Now, not all, and it is a private club. It's a membership club. So most of the time you can't shoot. It's not open to the public. You have to be a member to shoot. But you do have, a handful of events that are open to the public, right? Like Sporting Clays on the 4th Sunday is open to the public, and you have a couple other events that are open to the public.
We actually have a lot of events that are open to the public. The major Sporting Clays on the 4th Sunday. We also have a short Sporting Clays every Tuesday morning starting at 8 o'clock. We have long-range rifle match. We have a very active pistol group in the club, and we have some black powder shooters as well.
Right. Tell us about the black powder shooters? That's interesting.
So once a month on the 3rd Sunday of the month, we have one of our members run a black powder match, and most of the time it's a rifle match. Targets are set up anywhere from 25 to 100 yards, and friendly competition with nice little prizes and bragging rights. Once a year we have a black powder shotgun match, which brings out guns that people don't get to bring out very often. And we also have a black powder pistol match at least once a year.
And tell us about the Youth Trap.
Okay, Youth Trap is a program that we started several years ago to encourage youth to come out and get familiar with firearms. And shotgun was one of the easier venues for us to set up. So on the 2nd and 4th Saturdays of the month, shooting starts about 12:30. Registration starts around 11:30. Any youth, this event is open to the public, any youth between the ages of 10 and up through 17 are welcome to come. There's a $10 a week charge that covers ammunition and upkeep on the firearms. Participants that come don't need to bring a firearm, don't need to bring ammunition. We supply all that. We've been fortunate to have grants from the NRA Foundation. We have registered NRA coaches and instructors that work with the youth, and we've had several youth start out from a base of knowing little or nothing about shotgun to progress to be very good shooters.
Wow! Now, when you say youth, what's the age range typically?
From the day a youth turns 10 through their 18th birthday, they can come out.
That's awesome.
On any given Saturday, we'll have anywhere from 5 to maybe a dozen or 15 kids come. Because it's California, they need to bring their parent with them and have a signed parent permission slip to satisfy state requirements. But other than that, they can come shoot.
So if I'm in the San Diego area, I have a teenager. They've never touched a gun before ever, and if I can bring my teenager to the Youth Trap event, and they'll walk you guys will walk them through soup to nuts, gun safety, how to do it, what trap is, and the whole 9 yards, right?
That is exactly right.
Wow, and there's no commitment. They can come once and then that's it, or they can come every time you guys have an event.
That's right.
That's amazing. That's cool. There must be a ton of smiles.
You betcha, especially when the first clay gets broken.
That's the big advantage. That's how I wasn't really into. I was a pistol guy and a rifle guy. I wasn't really into shotguns at all until I became a member of Lemon Grove Rod and Gun, actually, and I started shooting trap. And the reaction, when you have a target that responds, that blows up, after you shoot it. I mean, that's fun. I mean, as fun as shooting steel and putting holes in paper is, when you shoot your target and it explodes, that's fun, and that's how I got hooked on shotgun. That's why we go do sporting clays every month now, and Joe beats me every month.
Well, maybe you should lie about your age and come to Youth Trap.
He beats me. I don't even have an excuse. Usually I can say, well, that guy's got a semi-auto, a really cool shotgun, but he's got a pump action too. That I think your shotgun's even older than mine.
That's right. It's the pump action I got when I was 14.
Yeah, and he still beats me.
Works.
It's humiliating. That's cool. What made you guys start this? It sounds like it's really successful with getting kids into shooting. What was the catalyst to get you guys to start this?
Well, we've had a Boy Scout Merit Badge program for a number of years, and we kept getting inquiries from members who had kids or grandkids. Why didn't we offer a program for other youth that weren't scouts? And so from there, we moved to the Youth Trap program, and it's been going great guns.
Well, that's awesome. That's awesome. So how can people get involved?
So we have a website. If you Google Lemon Grove Rod and Gun Club, you'll get to our website. On the site, there is information about all of our events, both public and members only. There's a calendar that tells you when things are happening. There's information about becoming a member. We currently have, a few years ago, we upped our membership limit, and we're just now starting to catch up to that. So we still have probably 90 or 100 openings. At the rate they've been gobbled up for the past 3 months since we reopened, not going to be 100 memberships open for long.
How many members do you guys have?
Altogether, we're at about 450. We have several different categories of membership, partly depending on age and depending on how long you've been a member of the club.
Great. Thanks, Jerry. Jerry Shiller from Lemon Grove Rod and Gun Club. Look him up online. Join their Youth Trap Shoot.
Absolutely. Gun Owners Radio, FM 96.1, AM 1170.
The Answer.
Welcome back to Hour 2 of Gun Owners Radio with your hosts, Dave Stahl, Joe Drammissi, and Michael Schwartz. Visit gunownersradio.com with your questions and comments, or to learn how to become a sponsor of the show. Time to get involved and get active. Together, we will win. Now here's Dave, Joe, and Michael on The Answer San Diego.
All right, folks. Hey, welcome back to Gun Owners Radio, FM 96.1, AM 1170.
The Answer.
Well, self-defense and emergencies can happen to anyone, and unfortunately, the justice system may not be on your side. While you protect your family and property, U.S. Law Shield is here to defend you 24/7, 365 days a year with a comprehensive self-defense coverage at affordable price. Bad guys don't take days off, and neither does our coverage. Get a plan from U.S. Law Shield. Check them out today at uslawshield.com. All right, we got Joe Drammissi. He is going to chat with you as the covert blogger. In November, the Second Amendment is on the ballot. How will you vote? Good question.
So we wrote about, or what I wrote about this week is, the election coming up, and it's a pretty stark choice, between the two choices here. Somebody's got to be president. And at least if you just narrow it down to the Second Amendment, so I think the overall the choice is pretty stark, but we're a Second Amendment group, so we're talking about the Second Amendment. And very, very great differences between what one side says they're going to do, what the other side says. And I think for the most part, the electorate's pretty, to be nice, misinformed, I think, about a lot of things. Uninformed is probably closer.
Yeah, that's very polite.
Yeah,
very.
And gun owners are unfortunately not immune from this. So what I thought I'd do here for a few minutes is just run down the differences. And I did this in the article. But and these come from, first, the Democratic Party platform, and you can look this up online, the link's in the article. But these are the things that the party platform lists that they want to do. So Democrats want to enact a universal background checks. And when they say that, that doesn't sound like okay, everybody's up for background checks. But that always includes a national registry so that all firearms owners are registered and a whole slew of other things. So they start off with that. They want to end the online sale of guns and ammunition. So no more buying anything online. You'll have to buy it at your local shop, which they'll work on, making it difficult, just like they do in California, making it difficult for those shops to stay open. They want to ban and manufacture the sale of what they call assault weapons, what everybody else knows as a modern sporting rifle, the AR-15 platform. They want to ban sale of high-capacity magazines. So, again, what normal people would call standard capacity, anything greater than 10 rounds. They want to incentivize states to enact licensing requirements for owning firearms. So, again, a registry, something, we already have that pretty much in California, but they want everybody to be registered. They want to incentivize states to enact extreme risk protection order laws, the red flag laws that we've been hearing about. Pass legislation to require guns to be safely stored in homes, similar to what the city of San Diego is trying to do. So your gun essentially has to be disabled and locked up when it's home. Repeal the laws that shield gun manufacturers from civil liability. So, again, that was tried before, and Congress, fortunately, did away with that. But to take it a step further, if you go to Joe Biden's website, the campaign website, he takes all those things, and I think there's about 3,500 words up there of what he plans to do Second Amendment-wise. The first one is, again, to repeal the Protection of Lawful Commerce in Arms Act. And what that is, that's the one that they were just talking about, where the gun manufacturers can't be sued for things that criminals do with guns. And, that sounds absurd that you would even think to do that, but that was tried before. That's why we have the Protection of Lawful Commerce in Arms Act. It'd be like, the family of maybe someone that was killed by a drunk driver suing Ford because the drunk was driving a Ford truck. It's the same idea. And the intent is to put manufacturers out of business. So you could look forward to an attempt to repeal that. And, should they gain control of the White House and the Senate, that's not an unlikely thing that would happen. They want to ban the manufacture and sale of, again, AR-style weapons and high-capacity magazines. He wants to regulate possession of existing assault weapons under the National Firearms Act. So a registration thing similar to what we have out here in California. Require citizens either sell their AR-15 magazines or platforms and magazines to the government or register them. So restrict the number of firearms a citizen may purchase to one per month. Californians will recognize that one. Require background checks on all gun sales, another thing we have out here, private party transfers. Reinstate the Obama-Biden policy that was reversed by Trump of barring seniors who require help in managing their financial affairs from owning firearms. So in other words, if, say, my mom, who's 86, if she wanted to get one of my cousins to help her figure out something she needs to do with her Social Security stuff, and she gives my cousin, say, the legal authority to do that for her, under this thing that they want to do, she would no longer be able to own a firearm, even if she had an interest in doing that. So that was something Trump reversed. You could expect that to come back. Bar individuals convicted of a misdemeanor hate crime from owning firearms. extend the time limit in which background checks can be completed from 3 to 10 days. So currently now with a federal background check, they have to have it done in 3 days, or you can go ahead and ahead with the sale. They want to push that out to 10 days. I know in California with our DOJ, I think they have 30 days because we were seeing that with all the frenzied buying here recently. They want to end not only firearm sales or the Biden campaign wants to end not only firearms and ammunition sales from online, but also kits and gun parts. So nothing from online. And again, incentivize the states for extreme risk laws, incentivize state gun owners for licensing laws. These are all things that they listed. And if you look at the Biden campaign's website, there are many more things up there. I just, for the sake of time, I didn't list all of them. But there's a number of things up there. I mean, it's terrible. Your rights are gone if they do what they say they want to do. To contrast that, if you look on the Republican Party's platform, and when they did their convention this year, they resolved not to change the platform from 2016, so it essentially is the same. But even the tone of things up there is a little bit different. And, again, not that the Republicans always do what they say they would do. If they did, that'd be nice. But even the tone of it, it says we uphold the right of individuals to keep and bear arms. A natural, inalienable right that predates the Constitution is secured by the Second Amendment. And, just to even come out and say that, back when they did the Heller case back in 2008, there was a Gallup poll, and I think it came up with 75% of Americans believe that the Second Amendment protect an individual right. So, at least they're talking the right thing anyway. They support firearm reciprocity. Again, they had a shot with that and unfortunately didn't do what they should have done. I think that got derailed after a school shooting. But, at least they're in the ballpark here. They support constitutional carry statutes. It says we oppose ill-conceived laws that restrict magazine capacity and ban the sale of the most popular and common modern rifle. So, the choice is pretty stark, I guess, or the differences are pretty stark. And I see some people too. It's a little bit frustrating. When we posted this thing, because this article, you can find this up on our blog site on San Diego County Gun Owners .org or SDCGO.org blog page. We also throw them up on our Facebook page. And someone commented on there, about, well, I guess we have to vote for a narcissistic overweight reality star or something like that. And, there are people that let their hatred for this man, they don't care about anything else. They don't care about what happens to the country. They don't care about what happens to their rights. And, really not good to be that way. So I just wanted to, kind of show people here anyway, in case you really did not know what these people are planning to do. A really important election, even more so, I think, than 2016. Can have a really profound effect on which way the country goes now.
And there has to be political consequences in order for the Democratic Party to change their platform. Probably number one priority for gun owners, our number one priority, what we should be doing more of and working hard to do is changing the Democratic Party. And that can be a lot of different things. That can be changing it internally. That can be changing it by showing them it's painful to, politically painful to have those views. But we have to get back to a point when this wasn't the political football that it's become in the last 30 years.
Well, again, we have millions of new gun owners now since January, and it'd be nice for them to just see this list. Hey, welcome to the gun community. This is what's coming. Yeah, depending on how you want to vote.
Well, I recently I recently helped a couple of women who needed to get wanted to get a pistol for self-defense, and they're Democrats. They're voting for Biden, whatever. Anyway, when I was helping them, I said, you really don't have a lot of choices as far as pistols because you just can't buy that many pistols here in California. And they complained up and down about that, And I said, well, that's the law, the pistol roster. And they I think they both ended up getting a Shield, which is one of the only, concealable handguns you can have.
Yeah, but they can't get the Shield EZ, which for women is a lot easier to rack.
Exactly. Yep. Yeah. So flash forward about a month, they named Kamala Harris as vice president. They're all in for Biden and Harris. And I circled back and said, hey, remember how mad you guys were at the pistol roster? Guess whose fault that was? Directly, Kamala Harris, So that kind of thing, and I'm not going to say that magically, change their mind, but that kind of thing, hopefully you can, point those kinds of things out and say, hey, look, these are real world consequences to these, ridiculous.
Hey, you better be
proposals.
careful with that, though. I think Kamala is racist. It's got to be Kamala. So
yeah, what are you doing with the Kamala?
Whatever.
Unless you're Joe Biden.
Yeah, unless you're Joe Biden. Then you can call her Waldo. It's perfectly okay. Hey, we're going to take a quick break, and we come back. A whole lot more. In fact, the man is now going to do a gear test.
A review.
Caldwell electronic earmuffs. He looks so good in these things on Gun Owners Radio. FM 96.1, AM 1170.
The Answer.
There's more Gun Owners Radio with Dave, Joe, and Michael to come on The Answer San Diego.
We don't need no education.
All right, folks. Gun Owners Radio on FM 96.1, AM 1170.
The Answer.
All right. PRMI Mortgage. That's primeres.com/Alpine. That is your home mortgage interest rates, or home mortgage interest rates have dropped. So if you're looking to buy or refi, or if you're considering a reverse mortgage, you need to call a local mortgage guy that you can trust. Call Chris Wiley at PRMI Mortgage. For nearly 25 years, Chris has been helping local San Diegans with all of these their mortgage needs. Give Chris a call at 619-722-1303 or just go to primeres.com/Alpine. All right. So, hey, buddy, what do you got?
Okay. Well, we have the Caldwell EMAX Pro, I guess, electronic earmuffs. And before I get started, I just want to say what an honor and privilege it is today to be filling in for Melissa,
who got to shoot a 50 cal out of a helicopter at SHOT Show.
So anyway, we have the.
You're envious, aren't you?
Oh yeah. So especially the SHOT Show part, because I don't think that's happening until like January. So
what did she go to? She went to something.
I don't know. It wasn't SHOT Show.
She just went to Vegas to shoot out of a helicopter.
Oh, okay. I could have done that in El Cajon.
So she went to Texas, could have shot pigs out of the helicopter there. Fill your freezer with that stuff. So anyway, I've got the Caldwell EMAX Pro electronic earmuffs, and picked these up off of the prize table at the Gun Sight alumni shoot a couple of weeks ago. So wanted to try them out. So let's see if we open these guys up here. Got kind of good news and bad news here to go through. So let me see if I just get these out of here.
The bad news is you can't get into them. The good news is.
So let's see. We'll get them out. They're cool. Come in different colors. This is the aqua version.
Well, of course it is.
So they're actually nice. These are the website there is caldwellshooting.com. They have a whole bunch of different shooting related things. They've got a number of different ear muffs and things like that. So tried these out the other day, and kind of some good and bad stuff here. So go through the good stuff. Because I tried it out. Well, we'll do both here. So I tried it out at a Women on Target thing I was working last weekend. And these come with 3 batteries. And worked fine for a few minutes, and the 3 batteries died immediately. So I didn't get a chance to try it out there. So had a match yesterday that I shot, so I wore them for the match. So what I'll say about them is they're really nice.
Well, wait a minute. Did you put different batteries in them after yesterday?
Yeah, I didn't have batteries with me at the Women on Target event, but I threw some new ones in there yesterday.
And how long did they last?
The batteries, I think, lasted a while. They were fine. The earmuffs had other issues. Oh. But the batteries are fine in there. So first I'll say that they're really nicely made. I mean, they're real solid. They're very comfortable when I put them on. And they worked at that thing for about maybe half an hour or so. And what started happening was I started hearing this beeping sound in there. Mm-hmm. And at first, there was a big truck there. At first, I thought, okay, the truck's backing up. And then then I realized, no, it wasn't. It's on here. And went to turn these things off. They would not turn off. So I ended up having to pull the battery to get them to go off. So what I'm thinking here is what I was thinking is I had a defective pair. So I tried them again today, and they came right on because I was saying it wouldn't go off. If you could see the controls here, this is something that I thought was kind of less good because it's a push button here, and let's see if it works today. It worked a little bit earlier. So you can see it lights up. So these things are turned on. And then you adjust the sound here by pushing this button is plus, this button over here is minus, just click it, and you get the sound adjustment. The thing that's a little bit iffy with these is when you're wearing them, which would be about like this. If I put these guys on, what I have to do is remember where these buttons are, back over here and here, and they're not real easy to feel. On the range with people shooting, you can't really pull it off to kind of look for the button. So I thought that was kind of a less good thing. Now today these are on. When they're working, they worked really well. If you've worn these kinds of things before, you could hear people walking, you could hear people crunching on the gravel and things like that. So they worked really well when they were working. They attenuated the gunshots pretty well. It's just they quit working yesterday, and if I pass these around, if you want, you could hear what they sound like if you put them on.
Yeah, let Dave.
But again, they worked well, and they quit working yesterday. So I've got an RSO shift on Friday, so I'm going to try them out again. The other thing is they have a full warranty, assuming they warrant things that you get off the prize table. But I'm going to give them a call this week if they don't work again. So you could hear that. If you could find the adjustments over there, you could turn that up. So
is it
down
on,
just
Dave?
a little bit farther. And you could probably hear just stuff here.
Well, I've used other headphones. These are too tight. I bet you if you wore these for a half hour or so, you could get a headache.
Yeah, I didn't. I mean, they fit me fine.
Just here, Mike.
I have a big
But
head.
I didn't have an issue with
You
that.
have a melon.
Let me see here.
Try that.
Finding the buttons though and the
You can't
controls
find
were that's going to be a problem.
You
I
almost,
think.
a little bit.
Yeah, like the other pair, I've got a Pelotor pair. I
Go ahead and
think,
see if you can
and
even
there's
spread them apart.
There's actually a knob on there which works pretty well. But
This is a guy that loses springs out of his gun.
Everything.
so these go for about $44.
Oh yeah, these are tight. They fit
yeah.
on my big ears though.
But they're still super tight.
They're a little tight. I think you can adjust them here,
You think?
right there. I usually end up getting a pair of these before I go to the 4-day every year.
And then whether they work or you got them for 4 days, good or bad, right?
Exactly. They're almost disposable. It's like an annual disposable expense.
For me, these weren't bad when they were working. I had some issues with them.
Okay with it?
Yeah.
They seem really tight.
And again, the buttons would be a problem, I think. But they're the other thing is they're 23 dB. It's their noise rating, and that's a little bit low. Typically, you want 27, 28, 29, something like that. They go up to about 31, I think, typically with earmuffs. But again, they seem to work fine.
What was their cost?
These are $44.95, and and that's not bad. I mean,
Yeah,
I think
there's others that are over 100.
Oh yeah, way over 100. I think mine, the ones I use, were like $60, and they're fine. And I was actually looking for another pair because the padding on side of my backup pair started to rip and shred. So I was thinking that's why I saw these on the prize table. I said, I'll grab those. I need another pair anyway. But yeah, there are people that spend a couple $100 on.
So are you going to call
earmuffs.
these guys?
Yeah, you know what I want to do is I have to work an RSO shift on Friday, so I'm going to bring them down. I'm going to wear them for 4 hours. I'm going to see if they work. Because they worked for about half an hour yesterday, and then they started beeping, and it just went downhill
So
from
I'd
there.
put another set of... Wait a minute. Let me ask you the more important question.
Okay,
Have you read the instructions manual?
I did. They said nothing about that, and my wife is always telling me to...
Read the instructions.
No, she's always saying go online and look for other people, see if they complained about that. So I haven't done that yet. So at least... did you turn these off?
I did.
Okay.
You thought it broke, didn't you?
So, well, I didn't know because it's still working. It's going on and off, which it wasn't doing the other day. The other thing I didn't like about this is the battery compartment is under this side. This whole thing is
See how hard that is?
But
I mean, it's not user-friendly.
But the battery compartment is under here, and this little piece comes off, and then you have the batteries. I don't know how long this is going to last doing that kind of stuff. Typically, you don't change the batteries that much, but I don't know that that's a great way to do it. So, but like I said, when they were working, they were fine. So I think what I'll do is I will try these out on Friday and see how they work. And if they die on Friday, what I want to do is contact the company, and then I'll let you guys know how that turns out.
I've used their products before. I don't know. They seem to be a little inconsistent. Like I've had ones that died after just a couple of days of perfect weather.
Okay.
And then I had a pair that made it through a 4-day shotgun course it was pouring rain the whole time. Yeah. And it made it through successfully. So I don't know. I can't.
For me, like I said, when I had them on for that first half hour, 45 minutes, however long that lasted, they were comfortable enough. They were fine because I know, wearing headphones, because I switched to the other electronic ear plugs because shooting matches at Palo where you're out there for 6 hours or so, those headphones or the earmuffs get uncomfortable after a while, especially when it's hot.
Yeah.
But so like I said, these felt fine. For what I was using them for the other day.
But the electronic muffs are pretty, especially if you're taking a pistol class or doing a pistol competition, you got to be able to hear the instruction. You got to be able to hear, the range safety officers. And, they work really, really well when they work. But then I've tried them, with long guns. And, they always end up knocking off your ear.
Well, see, that's the other thing I want to do, too, on Friday. After I finish my RSO shift, I want to walk next door to the rifle range because the rifles are typically a little bit louder than the pistols are. Like I said, it muffled them fine. They sound a little bit sharper sometimes, but I want to see how they do with the rifles.
Well, the sound was okay. It's just that when you mount it, when you're shooting, you mount it, it ends up your right ear. It ends up getting
Another thing is
the
they don't tell you the life expectancy of the battery. A lot of these units will say, batteries are good for 3 days, 4 days. There's nothing in the owner's manual that says what the life expectancy of the battery is. So,
well, that's interesting. What are they again?
These are the Caldwell Emax Pro is what they are.
Cool.
So, and like I said, their website's caldwellshooting.com. Right. They have lots of stuff up there. They've got a bunch of hearing protection. They've got other shooting accessories. So check them out.
All right, so let's go ahead and take a quick break. When we come back, a whole lot more right here on Gun Owners Radio, FM 96.1, AM 1170.
The Answer.
Welcome back to Gun Owners Radio, educating you on your Second Amendment right. Now, here are your hosts of Gun Owners Radio, Dave Stahl, Joe Drammissi, and Michael Schwartz on The Answer San Diego.
All right, folks, welcome back to Gun Owners Radio right here on FM 96, AM 1170.
The Answer.
Thousands of new gun buyers just found out what San Diego gun owners already knew. A.O. Sword Firearms in El Cajon has the widest selection of guns in the county. Hundreds of new and used guns in stock and everything you could want for an AR-15. A.O. Sword is also a professional gunsmith with a full machine shop for cleaning, repair, upgrades, customization, and Cerakote. Check out A.O. Sword on Facebook or go to aosword.com. With that being said, David Chong, he is our firearms technical expert, is on the line. How you doing, David?
Good. Sorry for clearing my throat there.
Oh, you're more than welcome. We'd rather have that than have you choked to death.
Well, I promise it's not the COVID.
We're so glad to hear that.
Yeah.
So how you been?
Joe, that was a good. That was. I'll tell you about that. But Joe, great segment. I'm just going to give you a 30-second quip here as a guy who buys these headsets wholesale and a professional firearms instructor. I have tried all of the electronic muffs because, just like Michael said, and you intimated, you have got to be able to hear everything on the range. Mm-hmm. As an instructor, you have to be able to hear yourself. I've spent thousands of hours under muffs, from $60 all the way up to $200. I'm going to save everybody a whole bunch of money. Radians R3700s. They're about $100 muff. They are the only set that give me 360-degree hearing with quad microphones, so I can actually hear not just left or right, but in front of, behind. And then they also are the only ones that transmit my own voice back to me without sounding like Darth Vader when I speak, and I'm speaking all the time in these classes.
What do they call? What's it called again?
Radians R3700. We have them in the shop, but you can get them anywhere else, I suppose. We do have them in stock for you at AO Stored Firearms, where we also have still tremendous inventory of guns that we sell at MSRP or below. Still not marking up our guns, and I'm having to spend double shifts making sure that we're in supply, but we have not run out of Glocks in 2 months.
Great. How's your shotgun supply, David?
I'm not even sure I remember what shotguns are anymore. We have plenty of sporting clays and hunting guns. I'm only getting about 5 to 10 security shotguns a week, and that hurts because we have 5 to 10 people a day asking for a security shotgun. We just don't have them.
Wow.
That's crazy.
Remington's, temporarily out of business with their bankruptcy. Mossberg's doing all they can, but the demand is very, very high. So that is the number one thing, other than, of course, 9mm and 5.56 ammunition, that we just are having a very, very hard time meeting demand.
Yeah, and with this election coming up, I don't see any of that letting up. I think it's going to be bad at least through the end of the year.
Well, I've been telling.
Yeah, we've seen on the retail side, and I apologize for cutting you off, Michael, but the sales were 5 times normal volume in COVID season. Then they got to 10 times normal volume in riot season, trickled down to about 6 times normal volume last month, and then now they're picking back up.
I've been telling people for years, the guys that had 5 or 6 ARs, you got to get a shotgun. And nobody's been listening to me for years, Dave. Nobody's been listening.
Well, somebody must be listening.
Looks like all I needed to do was, burn down La Mesa, start a few riots. That's what I should have been doing.
Yeah.
How about that?
So you have an interesting story for us, David.
I sure do. Cutting to the chase, last weekend I was supposed to be on the show, and I apologize to you and our listeners, but I spent my whole Sunday working with law enforcement on a lethal force threat encounter with trespassers that I had on our ranch in Tombstone, Arizona. It went Wild West on us for a little while there. I want to share some points about my encounter that I think listeners can get some takeaways for their own successful self-defense. You read through the good, bad, and ugly in the sheriff's report, Michael.
I did. It was pretty phenomenal. I don't know. I'm going to let you lead because I don't know how much you want to talk about it, but go for it.
Thank you. Yeah, we'll keep the names out to protect the guilty. But the gist of it is I had just finished up a shooting session on a private 1,000-acre ranch that we are developing for shooting sports and training. That's going to be very exciting, but I can't talk much about that. And as I'm packing out, again, in the middle of our ranch, 3 ATVs full of trespassers, five people, came up on me, were belligerent and challenging, and insisted that they weren't trespassing no matter how many times I told them that they were and they needed to get out. They eventually left and said they were only passing through after a lot of belligerent talk. I went up to see where they went, and lo and behold, they weren't passing through. They came back at me, piled out of the cars, said they were going to bash my head in. I should mention I had my AR-15 on the ground because I was parked and looking for them when they came back. I had my service pistol in my gun belt exposed on my hip, and they threatened to bash my head in. Charged me aggressively, and eventually when one of them said, "I'm going to rip that gun off your hip and shoot you with it," things got very serious. And at that time, I put my hand on my pistol in a master grip, did not draw the pistol, but informed them that they would be shot if they moved any closer. One guy did charge me, and I oriented at him, told him he was going to get shot, 2 other people charged me, and I said they were advanced, I should say. I told them they were going to get shot too, and only when they realized that I was really, really serious that I would use my gun did they eventually calm down and move towards leaving. They eventually did leave, but only got about 100 yards before they drunkenly crashed one of their ATVs into my partner, who was responding up and trying to rescue me. And that ended up being a DUI hit and run.
Jeez.
And so I would tell you it was a qualified success, because ultimately nobody had to get shot, nobody got hurt. A lot of threats and a couple of rumpled fenders, but ultimately everybody went home safe, including the people who were me.
Did anybody get arrested?
No, there were no arrests. I will explain that, and it's a small town, Tombstone, of 1,200 people. We knew exactly who each other were in the encounter, and in small towns, dumb people say stupid things while drunk, and you write it up to dumb things that stupid people say when they're drunk. But they made a big deal out of it and said that I had drawn my gun, had pointed it at their heads, and told them that they were about to die. So I got questioned on that. I told them the actual story, and my story stuck. I'm not in trouble, but that's why I ended up having to make a police report.
Well, the one thing I did like a lot in the police report that I read that you sent me was how much you emphasized de-escalation. You know, you only win the gunfights you don't get into, and that was the one thing I really, one of the many things I should say I liked about your write-up. And what you did is that you made sure that you didn't get into a gunfight. You kept your head. You mentioned, I don't think you talked about it, but you kept your offhand, you know, in a kind of pointed at him in a manner of
position.
There you go. Yeah. So you think you did a fantastic job. You know, all the things that people talk about in the classes about de-escalating and making sure you don't get into trouble. You executed all those perfectly.
Well, you know, David, I think if it would have went a little further, they might have been surprised by your empty-handed skills.
Yeah, that's true too.
Yes, that's true. So I teach combatives, and that means not just gunfighting, but everything from empty hand through melee weapon all the way through firearms. Because I do believe that defense is a continuum, and part of the thing that kept those people safe, even though they were trespassers. At one point, I said, I do not want to shoot you because I care about you as a human being, even though your behavior is disgusting. And that's the truth. Part of what kept them not shot is they had already approached within 5 feet of me. Because I am very competent at defending myself, that was not yet a lethal threat for me. For an average student of mine, I would tell them that was already too close and they could be bludgeoned or grappled and seriously injured or killed, even by an unarmed opponent. Because of my level of training, I was the 1997 Shotokan Funakashi world champion in sparring. So I do know how to defend myself. Still, had the guy grabbed me at that range, that would have been a very, very desperate close contact drill with my firearm. That would have been no fun. But again, I didn't want him to get shot. What I want the audience to take away from this is that you don't have to get into these confrontations to be prepared for them. The reason why I was able to stay calm, try and de-escalate, try and focus on my situational awareness, making sure that none of the 5 people went to one of these ATVs and pulled out a gun on me from the side. So I kept them all pied in front of me. I have imagined and trained for this scenario my entire adult life and scenarios like it. Research over the past 10 years has shown that the hippocampus, part of your brain that works on memory and training and imagination, can be at least as engaged and possibly learn even more from imagined scenarios that you walk all the way through over scenarios you've actually been through experientially. So high quality realistic-based training from high-quality instructors can arm you with experiential knowledge, or even superior to experiential knowledge, to be prepared for these kinds of encounters, so that you're not for the first time wondering, what do I do, when a guy's facing you who's towering over you by 50 pounds and half a foot and spitting in your face. You can be prepared for these events by, again, seeking out that quality training and then being prepared for the adrenaline dump and the surprise and the uncertainty. That's called psychophysiological training, so that you're prepared to act under stress in a way that you would be proud of, even if you were academically walking through it in a classroom.
Well, all I can say is I am very proud of you, because you're a way better guy than I would be, because I guarantee you, I don't know if I could be as strong as you were. But there again, it's because of the training. If it hadn't been for all the training, it probably would have been a different scenario.
Yeah, you're right. Unfortunately, if I did not know that I was competent to defend myself, even when the guy charged me,
right,
I would have had to shoot him.
Absolutely.
And that would not have been a good outcome.
No. All right, buddy. God, what a story. Glad you're okay. Glad you're back. Hopefully they don't come back on your property. And we'll talk to you next week.
Have a great week.
You too, buddy.
Thanks, David.
All right, folks, we're going to take a quick break. You're listening to Gun Owners Radio on FM 96.1, AM 1170.
The Answer.
All right, folks, welcome back to Gun Owners Radio, FM 96.1, AM 1170.
The Answer.
Welcome back. And don't forget, it is thanks to our sponsors that we get to broadcast and bring you the best Second Amendment content show in the nation. So please, right now, check out the website of attorneys John Dillon, U.S. Law Shield, Firearms Legal Protection, A.O. Sword and El Cajon, PRMI Mortgage, Firearms Policy Coalition, and get yourself a Cali key. Need to find out more information on our sponsors and how to get a hold of them? Go to gunownersradio.com. All right, here comes the Stump of the Month.
We're going to have him on in just a second, actually. So I just wanted to let everybody know that Firearms Policy Coalition is in town. A bunch of expert witnesses are in town. And tomorrow, myself and Wendy, many of you who are involved in San Diego County Gun Owners know Wendy Hoffman, and Jim Miller, we're all going to go down to the federal court building to be heard in front of St. Benitez, the federal judge, on the Miller versus Becerra case, which is the case that will hopefully help get the assault weapons ban in California, that assault weapons law struck down. Now, I know everybody, every time I say assault weapons, people, that's not a real term. That's the name of the law. The name of the law is the assault weapon ban. They use the assault weapon term in the law. So I'm just naming the law.
Not you doing it.
But you're right. It's not an industry term. The lawsuit actually calls it a politically motivated pejorative term. It's not a real term. They made it up and they used it, I should say, to make it sound scary. So just wanted to let you know, if you are a member of San Diego County Gun Owners, you're a plaintiff too, because it is we're one of the plaintiffs, San Diego County Gun Owners, on behalf of all of our members. So if you're not a member, please help us with this lawsuit. Join today, SDCGO.org or San Diego County Gun Owners.com. $10 a month, $100 a year. Please help us. We're going to be in court all day tomorrow, maybe even Tuesday. It's going to take a few months to get the final decision. But if we know Judge Benitez, it's going to be one heck of a decision. And then from there, who knows what's going to happen. But I wouldn't be surprised if this case makes it up into the Supreme Court. But this is a real court case that we're hoping will have a real impact and effect, a positive effect on your life. So cross your fingers. Wish us luck, Dave.
You got it, brother. I'm right there with you.
All right. Now, our most popular segment, Stump My Nephew, Sam the Gunman. Sam, are you there?
Yeah, how are you guys?
Good, man. How are you?
I'm hanging in there.
That's good. It's good to hear. Good to hear.
It's only 21 years old.
I know.
How could you just be hanging in
21
there?
Going on 50.
Yeah, no kidding.
All right, my friend, here we go. Sam is, of course, my nephew.
Yes, he is.
21 years old, knows more about gun trivia than just about
anybody.
Yeah, just about anybody I know. It's kind of ridiculous. So if you send in a question and we use it on the air, we'll give you a T-shirt. If you stump my nephew, which is extremely difficult, we will throw in a hat along with that T-shirt. Okay, so this question comes from Dan in Chula Vista. Dan, I hope you're listening. We're using your question, so you at least get a shirt. His question is, Brenneke and Foster shotgun slugs are named after their respective inventors, but who is credited with inventing the sabot bullet shotgun cartridge? Sabot, C-A-B-O-T. I hope I said that. Sabot? Sabot? Sabot, that's a whole different term, right, Sam?
Dan from Chula Vista, thanks very much for writing in. You know what? You've got me on this one.
Oh!
He
I had a little
said
bit
he
of background. A sabot round is basically a subcaliber projectile with a jacket made of a material, usually something like plastic, that sheds off as the projectile leaves the barrel. So the idea is you can launch a much lighter projectile at a much higher velocity, and you can use that sabot to allow the smaller caliber projectile to be fired out of a larger caliber firearm, like a shotgun. But I, for the life of me, cannot tell you who first came up with that.
So just to recap, the sabot round, what it allows you to do is to have a smaller, which means faster, slug shot out of a 12-gauge shotgun, right? So it's a little bit more accurate. It's better for hunting in some cases.
Well, it's not necessarily more accurate. Rounds like that can have some accuracy issues because of the difficulty in getting the sabot to peel away consistently, but you do get much higher velocities.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Perfect. Which, by the way, your grandfather will tell you that the sabot, they also use that term for. Well, you were on subs, don't you guys have sabot?
Where are you
the
going?
thing that comes out of the sub, the
Torpedoes?
There you go. Don't you have sabot torpedoes?
No, we have Mark 45s and sub rocks. Sorry.
Oh, all right. He might have. I think he predated you. Maybe they upgraded by the time. All right. Why don't I just give the answer? Ward L. Kelly and William L. McAlvain. The patent application for the sabot bullet on May 10th, 1970, receiving their patent on April 10th, 1973. So, Dan in Chula Vista, you get a hat. You get a hat and a T-shirt. Congratulations. By the way, those two guys that came up with the sabot bullet shotgun cartridge, both Californians.
Whoa,
both Californians.
Bet they're not here now.
It was a different time. Huh?
It was. I've been saying forever. California has a very rich and important Second Amendment history, and if I have anything to say about it, which I do, we're going to have a very rich and important Second Amendment future.
Hopefully. Well, you really earned your hat tonight, Dan. Great question.
Excellent.
Hey, Sam, before you go, I had a quick question for you. I just want to know if you'd seen something in the latest Guns and Ammo, I think it is. They wrote about this German gun that they were giving to the German World War II pilots as a survival gun. And it's a 3-barreled shotgun. I guess one of the barrels is chambered for rifled slugs. The other one was a shotgun barrel. And the third barrel was a rifled barrel. Did you happen to see that?
I don't get Guns and Ammo, but I am familiar with those.
Yeah, I think they were calling it the M30, and they were calling it a drilling, I think is what they called it.
That refers to it having 3 barrels.
Yeah, very cool-looking gun, though.
Yeah, definitely.
They've done all kinds of different versions, like multi-caliber survival guns. I've seen a bunch of different versions.
The United States used to use a 2-barrel, I think one of them was 410, and one of them was like 22 Hornet or something like that.
I've seen 12-gauge and 308 combos that lasted about 5 minutes. And,
yeah, right.
And then...
loud bang.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, buddy. Hey, it's always good talking to you. Hope everything's going well on your side of the country.
More or less. I hope it kind of stays on the more side, but we'll see.
All right, buddy. All right, you take care, be safe, and say hi to the family.
You too. Good luck with that lawsuit.
You got it. We're after them. All right, folks, if you're listening on Facebook, YouTube, or on the podcast, make sure you hit the like button and subscribe. Please support our great sponsors, Firearms Legal Protection at firearmslegal.com, San Diego County Gun Owners at SDCGO.org, U.S. Law Shield at uslawshield.com, Cali Key at KALIKEY.com, and PRMI Mortgage at PRMERES.com/alpine.com, the Dillon Law Group at DillonLawGP.com, A.O. Sword Firearms Store at AOSword.com, Firearms Policy Coalition at FirearmsPolicy.com, and I can't thank Michael Schwartz, Joe Drammissi, Sam the Gunman, and our digital master, the man with the button, Brendan Thomas. And don't forget, you can go to gunownersradio.com for podcasts, up-to-date information. Maybe you have a business that you'd like to support the Second Amendment and this show. We're happy to discuss it with you. We have multiple options and multiple tiers of advertising that you can be part of. And we can't ask you enough to go to SDCGO.org. Join San Diego County Gun Owners for as little as $10 a month. There are other levels that you can join on as well, that as you increase your involvement will benefit you, exponentially. So don't forget, tell your friends, or if you're new to gun ownership, you truly need to be part of our family and go to SDCGO.org. And again, be safe. And as I say every week, vote, 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 vote. This is Gun Owners Radio, FM 96.1, AM 1170.
The Answer.
Gun Owners Radio, fighting to preserve and restore your Second Amendment right. Learn more about Gun Owners Radio and how to become a guest or sponsor by visiting gunownersradio.com. Join Dave Stahl, Joe Drammissi, and Michael Schwartz every week at this same time as they talk guns and Second Amendment rights. Have fun while staying informed and getting involved. This has been Gun Owners Radio on The Answer San Diego. This program is sponsored by Dave Stahl.